Hey everybody, we're here for a new episode of RLG Cast Reviews. Today we're talking about the Marvel starring famed actor BRIE LARSON. I'm here with actor Putty and podcaster JD. Their stuff will be in the description below, and we're just going to jump into this. We'll talk about no spoilers first, then we'll get into spoilers, and JD is going to tell us what this movie is about.
This movie is about mainly Captain Marvel, who has isolated herself away from humanity, away from reality, away from Earth, because she doesn't want to deal with the facts that she's been away for a while. But it also deals with Monica Rambeau, who's trying to get adjusted to her newfound powers. And same thing with Ms. Marvel. She's trying to get adjusted to her newfound powers. And when their powers combine, they become Captain Planet.
I was waiting for that to happen.
And then when you get Miss and Ms. Marvel together, they make the Miz.
They make the Miz because he's awesome. I hope he doesn't beat Gunther, but that's beside the point.
Review.
Yeah, exactly.
But and basically, it's the connection of the three of them and how they have to learn how to work as a team in order to defeat a higher power.
Yes, that is a description of a movie that makes sense. Unfortunately, this movie
did not make sense.
There's a scale here that's functioning, and it hits a lot of high points. It hits a lot of low points. It mostly hangs out in the middle.
And Tom Hiddleston's wife was the main villain.
It's factual. Okay, so I just have to say it. Kamala Khan, sorry, Miss Marvel.
She was the best part of this movie.
The best part of this movie,
and the cats.
The future for her looks fantastic. I mean, I love that character already, so I'm so happy to see what else we could do with it.
But they grew on that character from the series
very well. Because the thing is, the series, here's the thing: I really wasn't invested with Kamala Khan, her family, when Miss Marvel came out. Kamala Khan was always okay as a character, but I really feel like this is where we actually got to see really the Kamala Khan we really need in our world, and she became
this is the maturation. She's becoming more mature into her character with this movie.
But now see, and again, this is where we're going to get into things. As far as plot wise, like the villain, I wasn't really into the villain that much, which we'll go into more later.
It was your basic story of revenge, and I'm going to take away what you took away from me.
So imagine if you just took Ronin, who was good, and then made him not good, and a girl.
But see, here's the thing, though. I actually and see, guys, I don't know how you guys feel about it, so that I'll chime in and say how I feel about this. I felt the chemistry between Monica Rambeau, between Kamala Khan, and between I'm forgetting the character's name. Yeah, Carol Danvers. I liked the chemistry, but I was actually surprised to see BRIE LARSON actually like step back, because there's a whole controversy about her saying, this is supposed to be my movie, but then it felt really good. Like, that's what I loved about this movie, was the chemistry between the three characters. Like, especially with Kamala Khan, the way she made both Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers, I really could not have that storyline in my eyes without Kamala Khan. Like, I mean, she's the one.
Yeah,
she's the glue that holds us together, because she's the best part. This is the thing: BRIE LARSON's an actor who does a job. I don't feel like her working with these people and getting the job done is reflective of her feelings of not enjoying doing it. Like, for all we know, she literally hates them. But
I guess it just means she did a good job, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? As far as acting.
This is the thing. I don't.
No, she was take nothing away. She was actually good in this.
None of the acting in this movie is bad. I'm very conflicted on a few things. Nick Fury is here as a complete joke. From start to finish, even though we just finished watching a show of him where he is like one of the most serious characters in the MCU. Second,
but I liked him better than this, and I did in freaking Secret Invasion.
Yes,
though.
because this movie, I think, functionally as a comedy, is pretty decent. As a superhero movie, it doesn't work very well.
It's a mid.
If you came here to watch a comedy, I think there's something funny.
Again, I feel like the villain is what really pulled this movie down. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep naming things for you. So Nick Fury, number one. Number two, I don't know who wrote the character of Captain Marvel in this, but it's so different than all the other versions of Captain Marvel we've seen already in the MCU by a long shot. Once again, has become a joke character, which is not what she was. She was very serious and took no shit. type of character for most of her run in the MCU.
Once again, I think it's trying to play off the heels of Guardians of the Galaxy that worked so well as a hero team
it's
comedy
trying
movie.
To be Guardians of the Galaxy. Maria Rambeau, who I really liked her character growth up until this point.
Maria or Monica? Maria's the mom.
Sorry, Monica. They said Monica, didn't I?
Maria.
No, you said Maria.
Anyways, she has nothing to do in this movie until literally the last like 5 minutes of the movie. So she just exists.
She's actually kind of useless.
And Kamala Khan's power set doesn't fit what's happening. Okay. Also, we've shoehorned in this fact, and like, don't take me as like bashing this movie. I'm just giving you reasons why there's clearly more to this being bad than the villain. All of their powers are now linked because they're all similar. Yet until this point, it's never been mentioned or even slightly referenced that their powers are the same, because it's out of convenience to tell this specific storyline. Because in the comic books, they're not the same.
Oh yeah, no.
Kamala Khan is an Inhuman. Miss Marvel is an alien, and Maria Rambeau's transformed by like a experiment. So it's like, it's kind of like this story is just full of plot devices, and
cosmic. She's cosmic. She has the power cosmic,
right? We're not getting into spoilers, but I think by the end of this movie, it doesn't even tie into anything.
No,
even with all the extra stuff, this doesn't tie into anything at all.
Here's my thing.
I was like,
and I think this is the reason why I really enjoyed it. And again, it's not saying anything like, I know.
Make sure you don't tell spoilers.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to explain. The reason I really like this, or I do enjoy this, is because we've been on this whole bad stem of things with Marvel. So it's nice to have a refreshing, fun movie that, like, for example, let's use Quantum Mania. Quantum Mania is such a shit show. Sorry for cussing, but it's such a horrible mess.
The best part was the guy with the broccoli head.
Yeah, and then we get Thor Love and Thunder, and then
which was pretty bad too.
Yeah,
I like Thor Love and Thunder. I think maybe more than this.
No, see, I don't. I
but your reference point was a fun movie. Thor Love and Thunder was purely fun.
Well, no, it was, but the thing
was Multiverse of Madness was like a
really I actually like Multiverse more than this, for sure.
See, I don't, but I'm also mixed with Multiverse. Again, here's the thing. This is not putting in anything that we'll get into later with spoilers and everything. It's just as far as like because you got to think, if we're looking at characters, let's look back at Quantum Mania. When you look at the characters that we have in there, there's no character that stands out. When you look back at Thor: Love and Thunder, there's no character that really makes a movie shine. You know, outside of No Way Home. Well, okay, there you go.
Okay, you said there's no character that makes the movie shine. Gore the God Butcher was fantastic in that movie.
Okay, you're right. Okay, I'll give that one.
Jane Foster.
But again, I still feel like Kamala Khan in this just freaking knocked it out of the park. And again, I told you I like the chemistry between the three of them. And when I watch other movies, like for example, let's use Quantum Mania again. The family has no chemistry. Even between the whole point with Thor and any of the people that he's in that movie, there's no chemistry. This felt like it had more chemistry that made me feel like Guardians of the Galaxy or No Way Home, where you have that chemistry between two characters that makes you go, "Oh, I love."
We just finished talking about there's no fun
compare No Way Home to this.
Guardians was great.
No, I'm not. No, I just said
Guardians Christmas special was great.
Well, no, that's not. Well, I'm not putting Disney Plus.
Putty's exact words were no, none of them were fun.
I'm referring to the movies, and besides, again, the only thing we've had so far is No Way Home, which started everything. Then it was just complete mess. Guardians was good, but then again, messes again. And it's like it's nice to have something that is at least going back in a more positive, fun way. Even though there are, again, we're never going to go back to phase one.
This is what I want to ask you before. Okay, no, I'll wait till spoilers, and I want to ask you a question. But I think what's good about this movie is some of the comedy's pretty funny. I think all the action sequences are really well done, but
there was one janky bit of CG when Monica Rambeau.
CGI is shit.
Yeah, because when Monica Rambeau's learning how to fly, that was pretty bad. That
you could
CG.
See though that they're being so overworked, you could tell this was like the last ditch effort of some CGI people being like, whatever, man, this is all we have.
Interns from like the BRIE or something.
Stepping stones, when Kamala Khan sets the stones to run, looks so janky. Every time she does it, it looks so bad. But I like the action scenes. I think the comedy worked. I think they had good chemistry. I think Kamala Khan was really good. I think as a serviceable entertainment piece,
it's fine.
I enjoyed it. I don't think this is nearly the worst Marvel movie, not even close for me. But I'm struggling to see how people are giving this high scores.
But see, that's the thing. This movie's so polarizing. Either they're giving it super high scores or super low.
Well, we were talking about that today. Like that's seems to be the only points. People are going either like 1s or 10s.
And shout out to Ryan Airy from Screen Crush. He's called this movie a mid. And that's exactly what this movie is. It's a mid.
Because for me, I will give it a little bit higher mid, but we know why I'm giving it a little bit higher mid. We'll get to that eventually.
But that's okay. Then I'm.
But
really
that's because of something else.
Spoilers.
But
I don't think that's going to play into anything. But go on.
Well, no. But here's what I'm saying. I'm saying mid based on the movie itself. Okay. The only reason why I enjoyed it is we're going to get to that later and everything, because there's 2 parts that I want to get into that I was excited about both of them. But leading into those parts, I was still having fun. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not putting it higher than Guardians. I'm not putting it higher than Nowhere Home. I feel like it might be right there. Multiverse of Madness, maybe a little more as far as the character development and fun to it.
But no character development here.
But this is going exact opposite to what you said on your review.
Well, no, but see, the thing is, I still like this as more being fun. Multiverse of Madness. If I take out all the stuff that made me go geek fest in it and everything. It's that movie has the whole thing that still bothers me, and maybe it's just because I loved WandaVision, but then when we went over here, it's that whole plot line over there about, you're willing to screw this other woman that's literally you to get your kids, and then there's America Ferrera storyline. Like when you look back, it really is such a messed up jumble of things.
I think just the character of Wanda was messed up.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. I don't care about Multiverse of Madness. I don't even know why we're talking about Multiverse of Madness.
Well, no, but just as far as comparison, because again, I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, this is like Infinity War level of movies," but it's nice to have a fun ride, and I really did enjoy this movie. Right. So I was excited to actually come out of the theater and say, "Oh, I actually had fun. This was fun."
I want to get into spoilers, so you could tell us about how fun it is later. JD, give us a score.
7, 6, 9, 7.
I don't even know if I want to go that high. I'll just say 7 because I feel like there's a lot of 7s in Marvel, and it's a fair score for what this is.
It's a mid score for Marvel.
Oh, 7.5. 7.5. Yeah.
All right, so we got that out of the way. If you just came for the scores, that's the scores. And now I have a question, and JD, you will not interrupt him.
Spoiler room brawl.
Spoiler room brawl. Except for the chemistry and the fact that you had a fun time, we're completely erasing all of the end credit scenes, which we will tell everybody. Mm-hmm. The end credit scenes do not exist, okay? Do not tell me it was fun. Do not tell me they had good chemistry. Tell me what's good about this movie.
Oh, no, it has a horrible plot.
So then how was it a good movie?
Again, if we're talking about anything else, like look at the scores we gave stuff for like Multiverse of Madness and all those. You know what I mean?
I give it a 7.
Well, yeah,
I gave it a 7.4 somewhere around there.
But that's my point, though. I can still consider 7 a decent movie, a good movie. I'm not saying great movie. I'm not saying spectacular movie. Infinity War is a spectacular movie. Endgame is a spectacular movie.
I know, but I feel like if you didn't have the end credit scene on this, you would have walked away being very upset by this movie.
Oh, if you didn't have the end credit scene, you would have felt like you did with.
I'm not
going to give this a 6 if it didn't have that end credit scene.
I'm being very honest with you.
Okay, so before we tell them what the end credit scene is, you two have one guess each to tell me what my favorite part of the end credit scene was.
I know.
Go.
It was when Kamala Khan was doing all the lines that Nick Fury did.
No.
We get the reveal of Binary.
No.
Kelsey Grammer.
It was the suit. Maria Rambeau's suit.
Well, I mean, really? he kind of got that. I mean, he kind of said that when
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's the suit.
That suit is comic accurate.
Yeah,
even though
like,
technically Binary is a copy of Carol, isn't it?
Yeah. Binary was the number. No, it was the whole Phoenix thing. Remember,
she lost her powers.
Now here's a question: doesn't Pulsar also have that exact same suit almost?
I think Pulsar was the male version of Binary, wasn't he?
But the suit looks like exactly the same though, doesn't it?
Close to,
it's a different color. It's a color swap.
Yeah,
I think it's red and blue.
But of course, I mean, the thing is, and again, this will go into another video.
Okay, Putty, tell them what the end credit scene is.
Okay, which one? Both of them?
Both, yeah, do both.
Okay, so the first one we get, which is the actual end credits. It's not actually like
it's not the end credits. It's the final tag of the movie. Yeah, technically,
is that Kamala Khan. Well, let's just say this: we get Pizza Dog, which Pizza Dog came from the Hawkeye series, which then
Lucky the Pizza Dog, yeah,
Lucky the Pizza Dog and everything, which brings in oh my god, I just had her name in my head when you were talking about Pizza Dog.
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop, thank you. Kate Bishop then comes in, which shows Kamala Khan approaching her just like Nick Fury did in the first Iron Man movie about setting up the Young Avengers. So, of course, for those that don't know, they also bring up Scott Lang's daughter about this.
Cassie.
And then for those that may not be aware, we also have the twins from WandaVision. We have what's his name from
Patriot.
Patriot, yes, thank you. That I was thinking of
Isaiah Cassidy's grandson.
I wanted to say Isaiah Cassidy, but I'm like, that sounds like a wrestler.
And then, of course, the way they said they're doing it,
Isaiah Cassidy is a wrestler, isn't he?
And then what was the name of the whole
Private Party?
and then of course we have the Hulk's son, but in the comic books it's not Hulk's son, it's Hulk. What is it? I can't remember the name of the Hulk. It was that younger Hulk and everything, but it wasn't Hulk's son. It was the one that was part of the Young Avengers.
I know what
Maestro.
You're
yeah, I think so. Yeah, because this
Scar is technically Maestro's son and not Hulk's. I think.
Well, whatever. They're not going to do that in MCU, so it's going to be his son.
Yeah, they're going to use his son from She-Hulk to be in the Young Avengers apparently. So that's going to be our whole roster of Young Avengers. Now, is it going to be a Disney Plus series? Is it going to be a movie? We don't know yet. There is possibility it's probably going to be a Disney Plus series. And that basically is the setup for Young Avengers.
Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah. Which I don't think I've missed any. Well, Iron Lad, but I think they're going to use Ironheart for Iron Lad. I think that's who's going to. Yeah. So that is going to be our Young Avengers.
Might be in it. Who knows?
Yeah. And then of course, and then after that, we finally get what I have been dreaming of.
Johnny Robbie.
Johnny Robbie.
Yeah, Johnny Robbie. That's what I've been dreaming of. Anyway,
he doesn't even know.
I hope so.
No, I have no idea. Anyway, but the whole point is we end up in the mid credits with Monica Rambeau seeing her mother, and then all of a sudden we hear Fraser himself, as Beast. I forgot his name.
Fraser.
Kelsey Grammer. Rupert Grint.
Grammer as Beast. Now he's if you look at Beast, he's a common. For me, he looks like he's the comic book version, maybe mixed a little bit with the anime series because he doesn't have the big black, like the hair swoop out like it does.
Horribly CGI'd.
But I mean, again, it's okay. It is pretty rough, but I'm gonna make.
That's why I think this was a move that Kevin Feige did at the last minute because he's panicking.
But, and I'm not even going to mention this stuff because I'm going to save it for Putty's video. But for this, I think if we had to have a reveal of this is not only number one, the best way they could have did it. It's number two, the best possible character to get introduced to, because it's not like mind blowing, but it makes complete sense for why he's in this scene. Exactly. Yep. So to me, it was like, it was a smart move. Plus, Frasier's new season's out, so Kelsey Grammer needs to get it out there.
And the funny thing is using him instead of doing the Charles thing gives that whole surprise when he says Charles, because then what happens is when he said Charles, that means that we know this is the separate Charles that died in the Multiverse of Madness. Spoiler if you haven't seen Multiverse of Madness.
So the Charles I think that died in the Multiverse of Madness is the Charles from the animated series.
Yes. I think
but
so
on
too.
A different timeline. It's splintered somewhere else. This, I think, is a splintered timeline from Days of Future Past the movie.
Timelines.
Well, and then we're going to get to that too later on, because that's a major thing why I wanted to make them stay the MCU movie, but the video two, I guess you could say it, is because there's a lot going on here, but I'm just happy that we are starting to get a little. I mean, they have to start teasing it. People are starting, and I think you're right. I think Kevin Feige's panicking because he's like, boy, they want their mutants. But fans want their mutants. We're gonna have to start getting in there. And
he also had to figure out. He had to figure out a way to do it, right? Because like, I feel like you want it to be in everything, which is different than thinking about how it would be. So I can't knock you for that. But like me and JD have been questioning it the whole time because nothing seems like a logical way to introduce them. So he was kind of like, I just got to do it. And you know what? I'll admit it kind of worked here. I kind of like that procedure. But my thought process is, are the mutants we're going to get in the mainline MCU going to be these ones crossing over? Or are there X-Men already in our universe?
Well, I'm gonna jump off because the thing is, I think that's problems I'm saving for later. I think there's a bigger picture, and I think it's based on the whole idea of what's already happened in the past before the MCU even existed. I think Kevin Feige has realized he's messed up, and now he's like, okay, I need to find a way for this to coherently work. And what more than to destroy everything by also messing things up since they're already messed up. And we're going to get into that later on. I'm going to go way more in depth with it.
Now, I have a question for you before we end this, Putty.
Okay.
Would you have rated Loki higher if you've heard Ryan Reynolds' voice talking to Mobius at the end of the series?
I don't know. Here's my thing. When I did my thing and I was talking about when I did the whole review and I talked about Deadpool, there is such a passion for that, but I don't want it to be messed up so badly. When they were setting up for Loki and going into that, I wanted it so badly, but I also don't want it to be just so thrown in. And I agree, this was thrown in. It excited me to see it. It also made me think, but what happened to me in this whole situation is I'm thinking that my brain is thinking that because Kevin Feige knows he's messed up, but he needs to get the mutants into this world, he's thinking if we're going to do this and we're going to give a final farewell to the other universe, we need to explain why things have been messed up in the first place. And I think what's happening, since he's already messed up on this end as well, if you see where I'm going, we're going to save that for the other video. You get them, and that's where I'm saying that's where I think is the reason why.
I don't see where you're going, but we'll wait to the video so we'll
wait till the video.
Exactly.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for watching. Let us know what you thought about this movie. Check out their videos. Putty will have a added on video to these. I don't know what to speak.
Yeah, I will link. I'll be linking to both the Loki and this.
And also
on them.
do.
Do.